Hello, bonjour, welcome, good morning. My name is Sebastian, and it's a pleasure to welcome you today to this EduCanada virtual fair. We will start today with this presentation. I am here together with Paola Bucalorsi from the Embassy of Canada to Italy that will be delivering the presentation today. So we'll have this presentation during 30 minutes, and then from 3 p.m. Central European Time, you will be able to join the EduCanada virtual fair and engage one-to-one with multiple Canadian institutions in order to planify and in order to investigate more information about education in Canada. So with no further ado, welcome Paola, and off to you for the presentation.
Thank you, Sebastian. Hello, everybody. Good afternoon, and welcome to this virtual edition of the EduCanada Fair. As Sebastian said, I am Paola Bucalossi. I am the Education Officer in Italy, and I welcome you on behalf of my colleagues from the Trade Commissioner Service of Canada that are here today at the fair to talk to students from the respective countries of accreditation. So welcome Austria, Belgium, Denmark, Germany, Italy, Liechtenstein, Luxembourg, Malta, the Netherlands, Norway, Portugal, Serbia, Spain, Sweden, and Switzerland. Hello, Europe. These are indeed challenging times for everyone, but I can witness that the COVID-19 pandemic has not diminished the desire for study abroad programs among international students. This is the perfect time for start planning your education future. And I'm really pleased that today we have a large representation of Canadian education institutions ready to highlight the richness and the variety of Canada's education offer. Before we start, though, I would like to mention that Canada has recently updated its travel restrictions and allowing some international students to come to Canada as of October 20. Please ensure, however, that you consult with the education institutions, with the EduCanada website, and most importantly, with Canada's Immigration, Refugee, and Citizenship Department for any updates. So today, I wish to walk you through some important elements of Canada's education system in order to allow you to easily navigate this fair and take the most out of it. I will try to speak slowly and clearly, bearing in mind that English is not the native language of most of the audience, and including myself. So this presentation is divided in 3 parts: living, learning, and succeeding. Living in one of the countries that enjoys the best quality of life in the world. Studying at a Canadian institution and being part of one of the world's best education systems. And also finally succeeding in what are your professional aspirations, thanks to a system that greatly integrates academic preparation with professional experience. So this is Canada, a federation of 10 provinces and 3 territories. Education is under the responsibility of the provinces and the territories, as Canada does not have a federal education ministry. This image shows how massive Canada is. 10 million of square kilometers, the second largest country in the world. It has 40 national parks and the longest coastline of the world. It is touched by 3 oceans, the Atlantic, the Pacific, and the Arctic on the north. And it has 6 different time zones. It is a country which is known to the majority of the public for its breathtaking landscapes and for the variety of its natural settings. You can have everything in Canada from tundra, desert, mountain, rainforests, glaciers, prairies, rivers, lakes. There's over 1,000 lakes in Canada. But Canada is also vibrant and dynamic cities with strong cultural offerings. Every year, cities like Vancouver, Calgary, and Montreal make it in the top list for the world's most livable cities. And recently, Montreal was named the best city in the world for students. Canada is a home of over 37.6 million people. It has 2 official languages, English and French. And while the majority of the French-speaking population lives in Quebec, French is spoken everywhere in Canada. The geography of Canada is also very important and needs to be taken into consideration when you're looking to find your ideal education institution, because, I mean, it has an impact on your desires and on your needs, being it a rural, an urban, or remote destination, if you want to enjoy the mountains or living by the oceans. But in fact, Canada is the only country where you can actually surf and ski in the same day in the city of Vancouver. But another good reason for choosing Canada is because Canada is one of the most tolerant and inclusive countries of the world. Canada respects and treasures diversity. The Charter of Rights and Freedoms ensures freedom of conscience, religion, thoughts, beliefs, and opinions. And Canada is a multicultural country, the first to adopt a multicultural policy back in 1971. It is home of people that literally come from every corner of the world. In the city of Toronto, there are over 200 ethnic groups and over 140 languages spoken. As I said before, Canada has 2 official languages, and both forge the nation identity. And in the last census of 2016 shows that 1.6% of its population identifies itself as being First Nation, Métis, or Inuit heritage. There are 630 nations in Canada representing over 70 Indigenous languages spoken. So this is the richness of Canada. Canada also is a safe and stable country, and this is very important when it comes to choosing the destination, especially for parents. Canada's cities are among the safest in the world, with very low crime rates. The country provides healthcare system and has advanced infrastructures. Students in Canada can expect a safe and secure parliamentary democracy. And among the many excellencies, Canada has an outstanding education, among the best in the OECD countries. OECD is the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, and is a group of 37 member countries, most of which are represented at the fair here today. According to OECD, Canada has the most educated population in the world and has the highest spending in tertiary education. Canada educational institutions are mostly public funded, and this is a quality assurance concerning teaching, research opportunities, and infrastructures. And the strong connections between local governments, institutions, and local companies are key drivers to stimulate innovation. There are a variety of Canadian institutions. They're also referred to as designated learning institutions, DLI. So you need to know that Canadians love acronyms, and you will hear a lot of DLI at the fair today. Institutions range from big, medium, small. The sizes of the classroom also varies, as well as the settings, as mentioned before. What is the same throughout the entire country is the quality. All institutions are caring and supportive and place the students at the center. And the professors are easily approachable and provide great support and guidance to their students. Canadian institutions, be it a university, a college, or a polytechnic, offer an endless variety of educational programs and professional opportunities to prepare students to succeed in their professional lives. Almost all institutions have work-integrated learning programs, also called co-op. These programs are really special because they alternate period of study in a classroom with real work experience and paid, giving the opportunity to students to test in the real life what they're learning. I once met an Italian student in Canada, and she talked to me about her experience. The co-op program she took was a real eye-opener for her because she realized that she did not like what she was studying. And thanks to the Canadian system, which is extremely flexible, she was able to readjust her course to the desired direction. Nearly all Canadian institutions, whether at the college or university level, have adopted their learning environment to accommodate a virtual setting. While classrooms have moved online, the quality of education remains unchanged. So students have now the opportunity to learn in a synchronous or asynchronous manner with a great use of online resources, tools, and technology. But no matter what program you will choose, in Canada, you will live an unforgettable experience that will last for a lifetime. There are almost 100 universities in Canada, almost all publicly funded, that offer over 15,000 undergraduate and graduate programs. There are comprehensive universities as well as research-intensive ones. What is really, I keep on repeating, the quality is really exceptional throughout the whole country. University follow the bachelor, master, postdoctoral system and are equivalent to those in the UK and the US and most of the Commonwealth countries. An undergraduate degree lasts 3 or 4 years of full-time study, followed by 1 or 2 years of master studies, PhD, as well as other professional degrees and short career-focused programs. Often when I talk to students and their parents, we're asked what about rankings? Well, yes, I can confirm that Canadian universities make it in the world top rankings, just for example, as the QS and the Times Higher Education, to name the most popular ones. But it's important to notice that most of the Canadian universities are young compared to the ones of the US and the UK, and for this reason, they're still not reflecting in the world rankings. But while rankings are indeed important, I would really like to stress on the importance of finding the institution that best fits your needs. Another great education offer, which really is peculiar to the Canadian system, are the colleges, institutes, or polytechnics. From now on, I will call them colleges for easiness. Most of these are degree-granting institutions, that is to say, post-secondary institutions. The main difference is that program offers is more geared towards providing students with hands-on experience. So many of the modern jobs, like in the media field, in the creative arts industries, or advanced technicians, are provided by these institutions. And what makes the system extremely successful worldwide is that it caters to a population of all ages. So it's common in Canada to find adult learners in the classrooms, and often colleges offer evening courses that are attended by workers who wish to acquire new skills in order to advance in their professional careers. While generally the academic year in a university runs from September to May, often colleges offer intakes at any moment of the year. Colleges also provide pathway programs with nearby universities, so students can combine the best of the two worlds, starting in one institution and ending in another one. Usually, colleges have smaller classes and they provide the so-called soft landing for international students who can then move on to university studies. So also for what concerns the colleges, the very rich offering, there's over 130 colleges with many satellite campuses all over the country, bringing education also in remote areas. The program offerings is extremely rich with over 10,000 programs ranging from 1-year or 2-year certificates to diplomas and degrees. And there's also very highly attended postgraduate degrees that are attended by students that have finished their university programs and wish to acquire some additional professional skills that will really make them more competitive on the job market. These courses are designed in close collaboration with the local industry partners, who provide cutting-edge technology in order to train and prepare students. And the employability rate is close to 95% after 6 months of graduation. And also the employer satisfaction is really, really high. I'm happy to say that today at the fair, there are many representative Canadian universities and colleges, so it is really important to go and talk to them to discover the richness of the program offerings. And this is one of my favorite slides, Canada's thriving research culture. It is important to note that Canada represents only 0.5% of the world population, but yet it produces almost 3% of the world's scientific papers. As you can see from this graphic, 38% of the entire nation's research is conducted in a university or in a college. So students will have the possibility to challenge themselves with real applied research, with resolving problems of local industries. So really gaining an incredibly important professional experience. Also, as mentioned before, Canada is a bilingual country and prides itself with a long tradition of teaching English and French as a second language. So Canada offers a variety of language programs in all fields and for all needs. And since mastering English or French is a prerequisite for studying at a Canadian institution, most of the DLIs offer language courses to increase the student proficiency in order for them to follow their courses. And also very interesting, offering our high school programs in Canada. The primary and the secondary education sector also is called the K-12, another acronym, where K stands for kindergarten to grade 12. And increasingly, local foreign governments, teachers, parents are recognizing the value of a study abroad program in early ages, as many foreign students attend short programs, a semester or entire academic year in Canada and obtain a Canadian diploma. Living as a teenager in a Canadian host family means living a real Canadian life experience at 360 degrees. They will learn foreign language and study together with the Canadian students who, oh, by the way, obtain the best PISA marks in math, reading, and science. So today at the fair, there are many school districts from Canada, and I really invite you to go and visit them to discover their program offerings. So, as mentioned before, this entire education system allows the student to succeed in their professional lives. As often experts say, I mean, the jobs of the future are still unknown. The ones that our children will be doing do not exist yet. But this is why it is of paramount importance to learn, to be resilient, flexible, and adaptable. What we know for sure is that the world is increasingly interconnected, and today is the proof. And young professionals will need to master one, if not two, official languages, and most importantly, they will need to possess that multicultural sensitiveness that allows a working group to be successful. And Canada offers all this. And this is why this third chapter of the presentation is called Succeeding in Canada. So I touched before on Canada's work-integrated programs, be them co-op, internships, practicum, field experience, or applied research. Canada also offers a unique opportunity to international students that have a study permit and are studying at a designated learning institution, that is, having the possibility to work 20 hours per week during the academic year in or off campus, and 40 hours per week during breaks. And in summer, the break can be almost 4 months long. This allows really to live as a Canadian student, as most, if not all Canadian students, work while they study and gain professional experience and become, in a certain way, financially independent. What's also very important to know is that Canadian credentials are valid in the entire world. And for students considering to remain in Canada, there are pathways towards permanent residency, such as a postgraduate work permit that allows students to obtain a temporary work permit. This work permit will have the length, will be proportionate to the length of the studies, and you will not require to have a job offer already lined up when you apply for this permit. And the representative today of Canada's Immigration, Refugee, and Citizenship are at the fair with their respective booths in order to provide all information also concerning these pathways to immigration. Another of my favorite slides is these Canada superclusters. These have been recently created by the government that had poured $950 million to support business-led innovation superclusters. These superclusters are set to create 50,000 new jobs in the near future. And these hubs of innovation bring together academic, research, institution, non-for-profit organization, medium and large businesses to generate new business ideas and job-creating ecosystems. So as you can see, I mean, there are the digital technologies, the protein industries, the next generation of manufacturing supercluster, as well as artificial intelligence and ocean technologies. As an example, Canada has become an emerging world leader in artificial intelligence. In fact, Toronto has the highest concentration of i.e. startups in the world, and Montreal has the highest concentration of researchers and students of deep learning in the world. So there are many opportunities for students to get involved in Canada's superclusters through research opportunities, work experience, placements, and possibly even postgraduate work. So if you're planning to study in any of these fields, this is where innovation is, and this is where you may want to go. And let me take you to the final part of this presentation that has practical information. So where do you start from? Well, you start from EduCanada. EduCanada is not only today's fair, but is also the brand of the Government of Canada for its international education program, and it is a one-stop shop portal, educanada.ca, which contains a wealth of information about studying Canada and including a very, very powerful search engine. This search engine will allow you to find the program of your dreams. So if you, today at the fair, after speaking to the Canadian representatives, you feel that you still haven't found the program that fits your need, you would go on the EduCanada portal, go on the search engine and type the keywords or use the pre-already compiled streams. You will then run a search and you will be brought directly into the program course offering of the university or the college. Now you know what the difference is between the college and a university. You'll also be able to identify in which areas and which provinces of Canada you would like to study. You can also select if you want to study in English and French. The portal also allows you to have an idea of how much the program will cost. So it will include the tuition costs as well as the cost of living and the general supplies, including local transportation, also what concerns having a health insurance. These are all factors that will be taken into account when considering the total cost of studying Canada. It is important to note that the cost of living in Canada is relatively cheaper compared to Canada's main competitors concerning international education. And also for Europe, I mean, the exchange rate between euro and Canadian dollars is very advantageous. As an international student, it is important to know that there's no central application system like there is in the US or in the UK. So each institution is autonomous for what concerns its application procedures. What we strongly suggest, given the richness of the Canadian offering, is to shortlist your programs and taking into account the entry requirements that are different for each institution. It's important to know that you will need a study permit for studying Canada. And these applications now, because of the COVID-19 pandemic, can only be done online. So this is very important that today at the fair, you visit the booth of the representatives of Canada's Immigration, Refugee and Citizenship in order to ensure that you obtain the most updated information concerning study permits applications. And finally, something that everybody asks, but how much does it cost to study in Canada? Well, this slide provides you with an average of what it costs to study in Canada, what are the tuition fees in Canada. As I explained before, it really depends on then if you're choosing a big university in a metropolitan area or rather smaller university or a smaller college in a more rural setting or in a remote setting. So this is just a national average. You can see that studying 1 year tuition fees at the undergraduate level is below 19,000 euros per year, and at the postgraduate, it's slightly less, and it comes to 11,400 euros. It's important to notice that colleges are cheaper than this. But again, the educanada.ca portal allows you to make a precise calculation estimate of costs. Another question that is often asked is about funding and scholarships. So it is important to be very realistic when it comes to about funding your study in Canada, as most international students are self-funded. And this includes through personal family funds and bank loans. And again, as I explained before, the opportunity to work often on campus and also the work integrated learning opportunities. Government of Canada does have a scholarship program, and you will be able to find information again on the educanada.ca portal. And also it's important to note that each institution provides specific scholarships. So these can be based on merit, or it really depends on the institution. So make sure you ask this question directly to the institutions here at the fair today. It's important to note also that National of France and the French Community of Belgium may be eligible to pay domestic fees in the province of Quebec. So if there are French nationals or French Community of Belgium here attending the fair, this is important information for you to acquire. Again, these are some online resources that I touched upon before. Most importantly, educanada.ca portal. Also, the information on study permits. So the Citizenship and Immigration Canada is the formal acronym of the department. And again, information on international credentials. You may want to have your international credentials evaluated should you desire to study in Canada at any level. So again, I mean, the booth today of my colleagues representing all these countries today at the fair will have a wealth of information. You'll be able to download all kind of practical information, including these useful resources. So I really wish to thank you for your attention, and I wish you a successful and a pleasant fair today. And I'm available. Do we have time, Sebastian, for some answers or questions and answers?
Yes, Paola, okay. we do have some time. Okay. So everybody, if you would like to put some questions on the chat, we will be able to reply a few questions. And then after that, you will be able to join the EduCanada Virtual Fair and ask questions directly to the institutions. So go ahead and write some questions on the chat, and we'll be able to read them out and reply here live.
Okay. Do we know, Sebastian, how many students are following us right now?
We have right now 456 people in the room. So again, okay. Everybody, if you would like to write some questions on the right-hand side, we have been having several questions during the presentation, but let me try to get one while we wait.
Okay.
For example, one question here from Dario: how much it usually takes to get the student visa in time?
Okay, well, this is a question that I cannot answer because as an education officer, we are not allowed to give any kind of information concerning visa procedures. So I'll touch upon briefly in the slides to give an overview, but even more importantly, because of the pandemic, because of all the working procedures being changed. And so, I mean, the times are something that I cannot answer. And this, I strongly invite Dario to go and visit the representatives of Immigration, Refugee and Citizenship Canada. They're at the fair today. From your name, I am assuming you're from Italy. So we have representatives also from Italy who will be happy to answer your questions on how long it will take to obtain a study permit. In the pre-COVID era, this was pretty fast. I mean, my colleagues are really super fast once you have all the documents. But again, because of the pandemic, this may have changed.
Perfect. We have another question here from David or David, not sure where he's from, but this question has to do with bilingual Canada. He's asking, can we live in cities like Quebec or Montreal without knowing French, or do you have to learn it to be understood? So I think here you can cover about Canada being bilingual.
Canada bilingual, well, I mean, it really depends what are you going in Canada for? I mean, if you're going as Canada as a language student, well, then you are not really expected to master the language proficiently. I mean, so if you're going there for learning, I mean, you are expected to have a very basic knowledge. I mean, Canadians are extremely friendly and welcoming, so they really also will help you make your way until you really reach a level of proficiency that will help you live in either the Anglophone Canada or the Francophone Canada. As mentioned before, instead, if you want to study at a post-secondary institution, well then, you will require to possess either strong English or French knowledge. And as explained, I mean, there are many language schools, being private or public, and most of these are embedded directly in the designated learning institutions that provide English or French as a second language to ensure that students are brought to a proficiency level where they can then follow the courses. I hope that answers your question. If instead Davide is a high school student, I can also touch upon this. I mean, Canada also offers the great opportunity to study in either French or English and then live in either an English-French family. So you can really take the best of the two bilingual worlds, you know, studying in English and living with a French family, or vice versa, studying in a French school and then living with an Anglophone country. So, I mean, it's endless opportunities really in Canada.
Indeed. Paola, I think we should close the presentation right now to allow everybody, again, you can join the fair. For everybody who has registered, you can join the fair and you can there navigate the different universities booths. You will also have the booth from the Embassy of Canada and also the booth from IRCC, from Immigration, Citizenship, Refugees Canada. So you can investigate more about everything that will be your journey with education in Canada. So at the fair, you can engage on one-to-one conversations with the different exhibitors. So Paula, I'm not sure if you have anything else to add, but we should be closing the presentation now to allow everybody to go to the fair.
Absolutely. Go and talk to the Canadian representatives, because those are the ones that have all the information for you. And thank you very much for your attention. Thank you, Sebastian, for arranging this.
Thank you, Paola. It was a pleasure to have you here today. Also, another question from several people. You will be able to see the recording of this presentation in the same link. So if you refresh the link after the presentation now is over, you will be able to see the recording.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye, everybody. Have a great fair. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everybody. Merci à tous. Bye-bye.